Tatsa, papastem tsikasun. Hello, my name's White Horse, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Dreamcatchers, or the teachings that I was given about Dreamcatchers, or the knowledge that was passed down to me. But before we can do that, of course, we'll begin with a legend related to what we're going to be talking about today. Because within Nihiawiwin, it was tradition that stories and teachings go hand in hand, and we like to begin passing knowledge when we begin by passing a story. So today's story is all about nipy, or the willow. So we're told as Nihiawak that Kayas long ago, Kisamantu, our creator, had first brought the people, Nihiawak, onto this land, and he was trying to figure out how he's gonna easiest way to take care of all of these all of these people. And at that time he would assign the plants and the animals that were here before us, he would assign them jobs there. So with an animal like Mahigan, his job at that time was to teach people how to hunt and gather. The plants had different jobs, like with trees like the poplar tree. They were given the job to make sure that people talk right and don't say bad words. So with this, at this time, Kisamantu started thinking, well, I need one of you plants to come forward and agree that you'll look after Kahkeo Nihiawak, all of these Cree people, to be able to make sure that they behave right, and to take away any bad behavior or any bad energy that they might have with them. And even before he quit asking this, nipy stepped forward, or the willow spoke up and said, I'll take this job. This sounds like an honorable job, so I'll take this job to help take away all of the bad thoughts, bad energy, bad behavior from Kahkeo Sinuak. So the job was given to nipy, and when this was told to Nihiawak, it was told that any time we have any bad energy or bad feelings or even stuff like bad stuff, we're taught to take nipy and to kind of tap ourselves or rub the nipy on our body and our mind and our just to take away all of that bad energy. And this teaching was passed down from generation to generation, from the story of nipy accepting to take this job. So that's the story of nipy, and how nipy took this job. So of course, from this legend, the belief was always passed down that nipy continues to do this for us, and that nipy has the ability to absorb or take bad behavior or bad energy. This is why in Nihiawi, when traditionally it was taught that a misbehaving child would be tapped with a willow to take out that bad behavior, that bad energy from them. But of course, after the bad energy was taken from them, we were taught that we need to take that willow and carefully put it back in the bush where nobody would be able to touch it or accidentally pick it up, because if they did, then that bad energy, bad behavior is still in that nipy, and if they touched it, they would take that bad energy into them. So of course this teaching was sort of misidentified or misrepresented with first contact, and it sort of grew into this belief that children are struck with willows and they're punished when they're bad. So it was sort of like they were being spanked with a willow instead of how we were traditionally taught, where we're not hitting a kid with a willow, we're tapping them to take out that bad energy. So again, that common misbelief where as Nihiawak we take a willow and we beat our children, that's not the teaching. The teaching was that we tap that out of them with this nipsi that has taken that job to take away bad behavior and bad energy. So one of the most significant of the nipsi is Mihuapimak, or the red willow. So the red willow is considered to be one of the stronger of the nipsi, and this Mihuapimak has the ability to really draw out that bad behavior, bad energy, even stuff like witchcraft and stuff like that. It's able to take that out of people or away from people. So of course, as Nihiawak, we really have a high regard for Mihuapimak, not only as a way to get rid of bad energy, but it's used for medicines as well, and for ceremonies. So as a medicine, Mihuapimak, or the red willow, it's used to treat pain, inflammation inside the body, and to treat inflammation caused by stuff like colds and flus. So this medicine we usually get out of the second layer of the nipsi. So we scrape off that red outer bark, and then we take sort of the white inner bark, the second layer of bark, and that's where the medicine is. And we'd use that medicine in teas and mixtures to help get rid of of inflammation, because it is considered an anti-inflammatory. It's also been used to treat heart conditions because it does have a slight diuretic effect. That means, when I say diuretic effect, that means it has the ability to rid the body of excess water. So it keeps us from retaining water. It keeps our water levels from going too high, helps the kidneys to get rid of that water, and bring down stuff like our blood pressure and allow our bodies to balance when we have a water imbalance. So again, it's anti-inflammatory and a diuretic. The main use of Mihuapimak in the red willow in ceremony is that the inner bark, again, the same bark we make the tea with, is used to make kinikanik, or the traditional tobacco that's used in pipes and pipe ceremonies. That kinikanik is also used as smudge, or by itself, or to use in smudge, because again, that belief of the teaching around nipsi, and not just nipsi, but Mihuapimak, the red willow, having that ability to really get rid of that bad behavior, to draw it out and get rid of it, and that bad dark energy. So of course it's really popular to use in both medicines and in ceremonies. So again, kinikanik, the scrapings of the Mihuapimak, the red willow, are mixed with contemporary or tobacco nowadays, or stuff like other plants and berries, and used in pipe ceremonies, or to be used as the pipe tobacco in our traditional pipes. So that's the teachings about the willow. So with that knowledge now, we could go on to the teachings about dreamcatchers. So with the dreamcatchers, again, this is the dreamcatcher that most people know. And again, the teachings with the dreamcatchers, of course, say that it needs to be made of willow. And again, with this one, I used Mihuapimak because it is our traditional, highly regarded willow. It's a willow that we have a lot of honor for and a lot of respect for. So we use Bihwapimak. And with this one, I've bent it into the shape of a circle and sort of wrapped it with the white ribbon around it just to hold it into that circle shape. And then I sort of weaved it into this spider web pattern, being careful to leave that center open. Now with this type of Dreamcatcher, with this spider web pattern and with the cordage on it, actually has origins from Ojibwe and Lakota Sioux teachings. This is not specifically a Nihio teaching or a teaching within Nihiawiwin. It wasn't our teaching, it just sort of got adopted. So this came, of course, with first contact and how we learned different things, how it spread throughout Western Canada. But originally, this type of Dreamcatcher came from the Ojibwe people and the Lakota Sioux, and this is this belongs to them. And with the teachings on the Dreamcatcher came from the story, an Ojibwe story. I haven't heard the Lakota Sioux story, but I have heard the Ojibwe legend around Dreamcatcher. And with the legend around the Ojibwe teachings go that Kayas long ago, this kukum, this grandmother, was watching her grandson, and this grandson was really a real handful. He'd get into everything and breaking things, and just kind of a mean little boy, and he was always breaking stuff. But the grandmother believed that because this boy was always getting in trouble and breaking things, he hardly slept that night because he continuously had bad dreams and nightmares. And the grandmother thought he's being attacked by these bad dreams because of all the bad stuff he's doing during the day, and this is causing his bad dreams. But it's starting to bother me because he can't sleep at night, and he's even wakes up grouchy, and then it just continues. We need to get rid of these bad dreams somehow, but I don't know how. And on this particular day, this kukum, this grandmother was watching her grandson, and she could see a spider walking across the table. And right away her grandson come running up, and he was about to swat that spider. And his kukum said, "Oh, kaya stuta, don't do that." And she stopped him. She held his hand, and she told him, "Leave that spider alone. Leave that kukum alone. Let that grandmother spider be." And the boy kept trying to hit it, and finally the grandmother got through to him, and the little boy left. And this little kukum, this little spider, grandmother come walking up to the grandmother, and it started speaking to her. And this spider told the grandmother that, "Thank you for saving my life. For saving my life, I'm gonna teach you something that'll take care of your grandson there and take away his bad dreams, so he can have a good sleep at night and he won't be so grouchy and mean in the mornings." So it just so happened that the grandmother had a piece of willow sitting near her, and the spider showed her how to make it into the hoop. And once the grandmother made it into a hoop, this grandmother spider told her to hold it in front of her like this. And the little grandmother spider started weaving a web throughout the hoop. And she made it into a perfect spider web, joining the web together. But she made careful to teach the grandmother, you need to leave an opening in the middle. Now when the spider was done, she went back on the table and she continued talking to this grandmother. She said, "Now, Wukum, you need to remember this teaching. You take this web that I have gifted you with, and you hang this above where your grandson sleeps. And when he sleeps, my web, the web that I have given you, will catch all of the bad dreams and all of the bad things in its web here. And only the good things will be able to pass through, and all the good things will go into your grandson." So the grandmother thanked the spider and let the spider be. And she went to her grandson's bed where he slept, and she hung it above where he slept. That night she watched her grandson fall asleep, and she could see he was having a restful sleep. And she saw before she went to sleep that he even had a little smile on his face. So the next morning she woke up, and to her enjoyment and surprise, her grandson was smiling and happy. And he even offered to help her with some of the morning chores. So the grandmother was so grateful for this that she promised she'd never forget this teaching, and she'd pass it down to as many people as she could, to the Ojibwe people. So that is the story about the Dreamcatcher within the stories told by Ojibwe people. So I know with this teaching, I know that the Lakota Sioux also have teachings about the Dreamcatcher. However, with the Lakota Sioux, their teaching is just a little bit different, because with the Lakota Sioux, the story is almost the same with the grandmother and the spider. However, in the Lakota Sioux teachings that were passed to me and told to me, the Lakota Sioux believe that the Dreamcatcher actually catches the good dreams and the good stuff and the good medicines, and that the bad stuff passes through the center to be blown away and taken away, but that all the good stuff falls within the web. So very similar teachings, very similar stories. However, like I said, these were the teachings of the Ojibwe and the Lakota Sioux, and we've got to make sure that we credit those peoples for the teachings around this type of Dreamcatcher. So, of course, with this teaching, of course, it's really widely accepted, I guess, that all nations use this type of Dreamcatcher. But as I said, the teachings that I were given were no, it belongs to Ojibwe and Lakota Sioux peoples. And we need to make sure that teachings like this and stories like this are, we give credit where credit's due, and make sure that stays with them. So, of course, we see these sold in stores, and people make them all the time. But I hope you've learned a little bit about this type of Dreamcatcher, and a little bit about the origins of this type of Dreamcatcher, and why we as Nihiawak, as Cree peoples, we really don't see this as something that's part of our teachings, or at least the teachings that I was given anyway. Now, within Nihiawiwin, within Cree teachings, we do have a similar item that does have the similar teachings. Of course, the story I shared with you about nipy, that is a story that's within Nihiawiwin. That's a Cree story of nipy. And nipy and what nipy does for us, especially Bihwapimak, the Red Willow. So, of course, the teachings are very similar about the willow. Now, our version of this, we don't really call it a Dreamcatcher. It's more of a protection, or something that it sort of sacrifices itself for us. It takes in that bad energy and that bad dreams, bad behavior. It takes in all of that. However, with us, we use Mihuapimak, or the willow, that's bound in a different way. And we call this, the traditional name of it was Wipinason, or sort of a sacrifice or a offering, protection sort of thing. But the original name for it was Wipinason. And it was used not only as a protection but really used in offering ceremonies. So the traditional Wipinason looked like this. So you could see we used the different, I've used ribbon for the binding on here, and traditionally we would use different types of cordage or different string and stuff of different variant colors depending on what we're using it for. So with this type of something similar to the Dreamcatcher, we have 7 of the Mihuapimak, 7 Red Willow of the same length, about the same width, and we just bound them together in sort of a line like this. And with this Awa Wipinason, it sort of represents the 7 teachings within Nihiawiwan, because we have 7 sacred teachings, and each one of these Mihuapimak represent one of those teachings. So we could even go through them and name them. So teaching number 1 of the 7 teaching, wisdom, which teaches us to share knowledge. Teaching number 2 is love. To know love is to know peace, and all those teachings with that. The next teaching is respect. Respect for all creation. The next teaching is bravery, and it's to face everything in life with integrity and with bravery. The next teaching is honesty, meaning to be righteous and honest with not only yourself but with everything around you. The next teaching is humility, and learning to be humble and seeing yourself as a sacred part of creation. And the next teaching, truth. The truth of knowing all of these teachings and remaining truthful. So those are the 7 teachings within Nihiawiwan. And like I said, with this Wipinason, it represents each one of those 7 teachings. Now, of course, traditionally, this was used as a protection against bad energy, bad dreams, bad spirits. It was said to protect against stuff like witchcraft, dark energies, and this was hung either above a doorway or above the area where you're sleeping or where somebody is sleeping. Now now this really changed through colonization and within assimilation, after that followed with colonization, because we changed from using this traditional Wipinason for taking for ceremonies or taking into the sweat lodges and such, and giving as offerings for prayers and stuff, more to using the cloth prints of the different colors. And now the teachings of the Mihuapimak have changed. So we don't have the same teachings around this traditional Wipinason that we originally had, because these were also before cloths came with colonizations. These were used of varying colors taken into the lodge as the as the offerings for prayers and stuff within the lodge. So if we were going to a lodge, sweat lodge nowadays, we would take prints of different colors of the four colors into the lodge with our sistema or tobacco, and we'd give that to the lodge holder as an offering for our prayers and our requests for healing. Now, traditionally, these would be used rather than cloth, and this is what we traditionally called wipanason. So it's not the cloth we use nowadays, it was these. And what we were asking for would vary in colors. So color teachings are a different teaching, and I'll teach about those on a later video. But for this video, we're just learning about the wipanason, or the equivalent or the equal to a Dreamcatcher from the Ojibwe and Lakota Sioux teachings. So with Nihiawak and within Nihiawiwin, this is our teaching, or basically this is our Dreamcatcher. This catches all the bad energy, all the bad dreams, bad behavior. It catches all that for us when we use Bihuapimak and tie them together in this manner, and hang them above our beds or above our doorways to keep all of that bad energy out of our homes. So I know with working with all of the elders and knowledge keepers that I work with, they really want to make sure that to ensure we refrain from cultural appropriation, or we keep away from taking away teachings from other cultures. So like the Ojibwe and Lakota, this is their teaching, and we need to make sure that we identify it as their teaching because it's one of their proud teachings, and we need to make sure that we keep our teachings within our nations. So within Nihiawiwin, this is our teaching, and our elders would like to see those teachings come back. So that is the teachings that I was given that go around the whole Dreamcatcher and within Nihiawiwin and the wipanason. And although, like I continue to say, teachings may vary, people have different teachings, but this is the way the knowledge was passed to me. So I need to pass the knowledge on as my elders have taught it to me. If they're different from the way you were taught, I respect that, but only ask that you respect the teachings from my elders and knowledge keepers. Always keeping that mutual respect, because that is one of our 7 teachings within Nihiawiwin, respect. So that's our teachings for today. Thank you for joining me. Duksamaga.